Wow. Just finished episode 1 of The Last of Us, and it was awesome. I just wanted to tell you up front, I've never played The Last of Us game, so I don't know anything about the story other than what I've seen in the trailers. I'm coming into this totally blind, and I have no idea where things are headed. Hey everyone, Brent the Middleman, your middle age, middle manager in Middle America, here today with my breakdown of the first episode of what looks like another home run from HBO, The Last of Us. Quickly, before I jump in, back to pumping out the videos, totally committed to the channel. I love interacting with you guys in the comments, talking about these shows, but I see that 80% of you are not subscribed. That's totally your choice. But if I want to continue to improve the quality and the number of videos I'm doing, it really makes a huge difference if you guys hit that sub button. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to do my best to entertain you with this breakdown by being a fun guy. The Last of Us Episode 1 is titled When You're Lost in the Darkness. This is part of the rebel group The Fireflies slogan, When you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. I'll get back to the Fireflies in a bit, but let's start from the beginning. The episode starts off with a clip from a talk show in 1968. We see two epidemiologists discussing how viruses are a huge threat to the human race. Epidemiologists are public health workers, not actual medical doctors, who investigate patterns and causes of disease and injury. So, yes, if you're a hammer, everything can start to look like a nail, but we've all seen recently that a virus can cause varying levels of problems with society. One panelist says that humans have been fighting viruses since the beginning, but we always win out, even if sometimes people die. The other panelist, Dr. Newman, yes, I remember saying that epidemiologists are not medical doctors, but they can still have a PhD and be called doctor. He says that it isn't viruses we need to be worried about. Dr. Newman, a real buzzkill, says that types of fungus are the real threat because they can alter a human's brain chemistry, and anyone who's been to college knows all about how this works. He also mentions that we have no cures, preventions, or ways to fight a fungal infection, which means billions of humans could become shroomed out puppets, like if everyone went to Florida State. Not only does the fungus get into the host's brain and control it like a puppet, it also eats the host from the inside out, but without the mercy of death. Sounds a lot like my first marriage. Oh, and we get a glimpse of what this looks like in the subway office later on. Dr. Newman also mentions a fungal infection that affects ants, but the other panelist jumps in and says that it can't harm humans because it needs its host temperature to be under 94 degrees. And there is no reason for fungi to evolve and to withstand these warmer temperatures. That's when Greta Thunberg, Dr. Newman, interjects and says, but what if the world were to start getting warmer? And of course, that is when we flash forward to 2003, the height of Al Gore's climate change movement. We even see someone wearing a Gore Lieberman shirt after the 20-year time jump. For those of you younger viewers, Al Gore was Bill Clinton's vice president in the 90s and lost an incredibly close presidential election to George Bush Jr., where Joe Lieberman was Al Gore's running mate. In 2006, Al Gore produced a documentary called An Inconvenient Truth, where he calls climate change a planetary emergency. Fun fact, he also took a lot of heat, pun intended, for flying around in a private jet while promoting his film and asking us to reduce our carbon footprint. The Last of Us dodges this hypocrisy, though, by having the foreshadowed fungal outbreak start in 2003. From what I've read, the video game starts in 2013, but the show co creator Craig Mazin wanted the bulk of the story to take place in present day after the 20-year time jump. So that is why we spend the first half of the episode in 2003 following Joel Miller, played by the always amazing Pedro Pascal, and his brother Tommy, played by Gabriel Luna, and Joel's daughter Sarah, played by the mesmerizing Nico Parker. We see the outbreak start through Sarah's eyes, right up to the point where she is murdered by a soldier who is following orders from someone. We cut back to this moment later when Joel is put in a very similar position, this time protecting Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, everyone's favorite Game of Thrones badass. Because of what happened before, Joel attacks the soldier, not letting Ellie suffer the same fate as his daughter. This is also where we see the differences in Ellie and Sarah, as Ellie seems to enjoy watching Joel beat the soldier to a pulp, While we saw Sarah be terrified watching her father do what he had to do to protect them. We start the episode seeing an innocent world through the eyes of an innocent young girl, and we end the episode seeing a brutal, violent world through the eyes of a brutal, violent young girl. In 2003, we also learned that Tommy was a soldier in Operation Desert Storm, and he can definitely handle a weapon, and we learned that both he and Joel are able to kill when necessary. This is what pretty much every character has in common after the 20-year time jump. We are seeing a bunch of people who are able to do what is necessary to survive trying to coexist. The definition of a powder keg ready to explode. We meet Tess, played by Anna Torv from Fringe, and the incredible Mindhunter, basically the female Joel. We see that Tess and Joel have a smuggling network as they try to earn money to get a functioning car so that they can go out and find Tommy, since it sounds like him and Joel had a falling out. When Joel runs into Marlene, played by Merle Dandridge, who also played Marlene in the video game and is the leader of the Fireflies rebel group in Boston, who have literally been the match in the powder keg, he blames her for Tommy turning on him. My guess is that we will get flashbacks over the last 20 years where we will see all of these blanks filled in. Marlene and the Fireflies have been stashing Ellie, an orphan girl whose body can fight off the fungal infection. The first moments after the time jump, we see a young boy who was born into the post outbreak world stumble into the Boston quarantine zone with duct tape shoes. He is brought in and tested, and we see the tester light up red. They then kill him, and Joel burns the body. This is how Ellie knew she couldn't let the soldier test her, because it would turn up red and she would be immediately killed, even though her body is able to fight off the fungus. Do you guys think the young boy was also immune, but they killed him anyway out of fear? I mean, we could see how frightened Tess is when she sees the red on the tester, but they don't have time to talk about it because they'll all be killed if they get caught. This was an amazing opening episode of a series. The way they filmed the virus taking hold through Sarah's eyes, getting us to root for her, and then showing her super painful death was incredible. I love the little clues that something bad was happening. Short radio clips in the background, the police driving by, the watch place kicking her out, then the old lady spasming in her wheelchair behind Sarah's back just set the tone perfectly. Then the jump from this edge of your seat dash to the super depressing post outbreak world where Joel's job is now tossing truckloads of bodies into a fire pit. It just really pulled me into the world of the show and has me to the point where I support Joel in whatever he needs to do to survive. I'm really excited for the whole season, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the first episode and if you were a game player or not. It reminds me of when Game of Thrones first came out and the world divided into book readers and non book readers. I was a book reader at the time, so it feels kind of strange to be on the other side of this one, but I kind of love it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, here's a couple videos to watch while I work on the next one. Thank you again for watching. I'm Brent the Middleman, and I'll see you next time.